doesn't move, it shows actually it's very difficult to stay there for long. I stayed there for about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and I went out. And as you come from each and everywhere you come from, you go in deep and deep on sadness, up to down there.
L'idée d'un génocide total, où on trouve des grands, des gros, des petits, des tout petits. C'était un génocide complet, total.
Contrairement de ceux de chez nous, où on conserve les os dans une maison, sur des étagères, ici ça donne l'impression de la durabilité du site.
Complexity.
Yeah.
Complexity in the way that it is made of. It's like a labyrinth. You don't understand what is it.
Yeah.
And the genocide is also like that. You can't understand.
Yeah. He is providing space, and everybody who comes here fills the space by thinking about it, by not getting an interpretation, by just seeing this is abstract. You know, it's not nothing. It's no symbols. There are no symbols in this memorial.
The historical circumstances, the perpetrators' intentions, and the history of the Jewish people and their persecution in different European countries, they all form the basis of our displays. The fact that talking about murder on an industrial scale in a way plays it down. The fact that it was very personal murder involving a lot of murderers.
Many people believe that the murder of the 6 million European Jews was mainly carried out in the gas chambers in the extermination camps, primarily Auschwitz. But a third of all victims, some 2 million people, were killed in mass shootings. The last section of the timeline shows the final years of the war, when the German defeat was imminent and the Red Army was advancing from the east. During this period, prisoners were herded from camp to camp, always heading west. Hundreds of thousands of people died on these death marches.
L'idée même d'extermination, certaines personnes pensent à exterminer les autres, l'idéologie qui est derrière tout ça, les méthodes utilisées, la cruauté, c'est semblable, même si chez nous, il n'y a pas eu de chambre à gaz, mais certaines victimes auraient souhaité qu'ils soient gazés au lieu d'être massacrés par la machette, par des outils traditionnels. Nous ne voulons pas que le peuple Hutu soit considéré comme un peuple de criminels. C'est pas inné, c'est pas quelque chose qu'on transmet de père en enfant. Mais nous sommes en train de chercher même chez nous, dans notre histoire, quels sont les fondements, les racines du génocide. Et pourquoi on est arrivé là, dans un peuple qui vivait en harmonie, même s'il y avait des clichés, des mythes, des diabolisations, d'exclusion, parce qu'on disait des Tutsis, ce sont des étrangers, ils sont venus d'ailleurs, mais on cherche toujours à trouver des explications.
Pour le moment, au Rwanda, ceux qui ont exécuté le génocide, donc ceux qui ont participé au génocide, leurs parents, bien même ceux qui viennent de purger leur peine dans les prisons, eux, ils ne souhaitent pas qu'on continue à faire cette commémoration. Il faudrait essayer de les amener à porter leurs responsabilités. Il est trop tôt peut-être aujourd'hui, il est encore tôt. Je crois que ça a pris beaucoup de temps aussi ici en Allemagne. Ça a pris beaucoup de temps. Eh bien, nous espérons que que ça prendra du temps, mais que les gens finiront par dire oui, c'est vrai, nous avons commis des crimes. Et il faut qu'on puisse en garder un certain souvenir.
Nous souhaitons que dans notre pays aussi, cet antagonisme entre les Hutus et Tutsis soit terminé petit à petit. Ça ne viendrait pas d'un jour, mais qu'au moins des enfants, des tueurs, même les tueurs eux-mêmes, parce que nous vivons aujourd'hui avec eux, regrettent, reconnaissent et fassent des gestes de réparation.
That time they were targeting every Tutsi that time. So what she said, my son, if I don't see you again, please be a man. In my culture, if you say Uzao Mugabo, be a man, is very big encouragement. This is my last word I had from my mother, because the next morning she was killed and all people from my house. It is so hard to see people die because people died in around where I was hiding. I saw them through the windows. I saw the perpetrators running around looking for people. I was trying to escape from the area I was hiding to other areas where they don't know me. I would prefer to stop by here and I can receive your questions. But hopefully this will not repeat again. Thank you very much.
Rwandan genocide was done by Rwandans themselves. It was done by the government, the Again Rwanda government, which was a Hutu government. So there is no one who came from abroad to come to kill people. One lady told us that 6 members of our family had been killed by the neighbor. And this man who killed his family was released because he asked for forgiveness, and there has been a presidential decree of releasing at least 30,000 perpetrators. So this woman came and told us, you know what? You see this man who is helping me with my roof because it was raining. This man killed my father, my husband with 6 of my children. But I stayed here 5 years, no one was helping me. But I don't have any choice. He's the one now helping me. You know?
Yeah, I was just wondering to what extent you would see yourself and your fellow countrymen as Rwandans, or rather still as Hutus and Tutsis? So do you still think there's some division?
We are trying. I have to say that, to be honest with you. We know who we are, but it's about what is priority and who I am as a Tutsi. What if I promote it, where I end up to? If I promote being a Rwandan, what I end up to? This is a matter of choice, but it seems working.
In Rwanda, sometimes you find that there are things which are not told. There are suspicions between people. For example, relative to don't give some details about what happened. Survivors and victims don't trust perpetrators, so there is a little bit of mistrust and a history which is not agreed on. People of my generation, we are the second generation, they are really all committed and curious to get out of this and to face their history. Because we are all Rwandans and we share the same things, we share the same school, we share the same workplace, we are all the same. So if we want to construct a new Rwanda, we need to make this happen. And it's not our parents who have been involved in it who will make this happen, it's us. And it starts now.
During the commemoration, we always generalize that Hutus are bad, Hutus committed genocide, and that if we don't address that at an early stage, then we might end up hurting even other people. I never read that the Germans did this. What I was reading, it was the National Socialism, the Nazi, the SS. So it shows that people who wrote the history wrote the exact history. For Europe or for Germany and Poland, it took almost 50 years to have what we are seeing today. But given the same experience, I think for Rwanda we shouldn't wait for 50 years.
Show the past. We can only show pictures taken in the past. It's about showing something outrageous. He admitted, my unit killed more than 90,000 civilians. I wrote it down in my reports. I am a German officer, I would never lie to my commanders. And he explains that world history only knows progress if the strong prevails and the weak is taken away. And that's why he is not a murderer. It is the course of events, the law of history. He made a career as a police officer, not as a party member. But that's why they have been so dangerous. As professionals, they knew how to do. The identities, the names of the victims are all the same to them, but they mention if they killed male Jews or Jewish women. They sum up and we see a small unit, less than 200 men, kills in July 3,834.
By 1 month.
In less than 4 weeks. Of course, we have to stand firm to our message about the facts. Mm-hmm. It is already an answer to questions. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It is the answer to the question, what happened? Mm-hmm. This is, we have to stand firm and we have to show it. Mm-hmm. It's our job as a student.
And I actually would say that it is better not to give answers because they are subject to research. Only the people who are no longer living the perpetrator would give the appropriate answers behind their acts. Others should only be theories or hypotheses because you cannot tell 100%.
No, never 100%, of course.
The motivations of these people.
No.
Is it an ideology that they have been following, something they believed in?
But I think the real job for especially those engaged in social sciences should be, you should think about the division between the two sides, where this division came from, how it emerged, and not to take it as given. This is something important, I would say, not to accept everything what happened, but to learn it was made.
What we have seen is so important. It's not important for Jews only. It's very important for humanity. I felt actually there is a big connection between me and the place. Because this happened to Jews. Sometime later, it happened to Cambodia. It happened to Balkans. It happened to Rwanda, to my people, to my parents, to my four sisters. It happened to Darfur. And the question is, what people learned from Holocaust? The memory of genocide is very important for people to learn from the past in order to build the future. But at the same time, it's very important to pay respect of the people who perished.
Mon mari a été tué dès que nous nous sommes séparés. Il a été tué tout près de la maison. Mais je n'étais pas ensemble avec lui. C'était un voisin, ils étaient en équipe, mais je connais le responsable de l'équipe, il s'appelle Chassa. C'est son surnom, le nom propre, c'est Halima, je ne me souviens pas très bien, mais il était surnommé Chassa. Ils avaient des fusils, il a tiré sur nous. C'est pas si facile que les bourreaux, avec leurs convictions, participent dans les commémorations, dans les activités qui aident les victimes. S'ils ne viennent pas de leur bonne volonté, de leur cœur, c'est chagrinant. Il faudrait qu'ils rendent hommage aux victimes.
From this platform, it's about 300, maybe 400 meters to the gas chambers. 2 gas chambers were there at the end of the tracks, and they were the biggest, and 2 others were in the forest over there. And when they left the trains, the families, they were standing right over here, where we are standing right now, and first of all, the families were separated. Women and kids on this side, men on this side. And then one of the doctors that used to work at Auschwitz, he was standing right over here in the middle of this platform, and they carry out the selections, the doctors. So they decided who will stay here, so who will work and live in Auschwitz, or who die immediately. Most of them were killed straight away. People that were old, women pregnant, little kids, cripples, disabled. Or sometimes all of them, even people that were fit to work, they were killed in the gas chamber. So the whole transport. Sometimes the ones that were fit to work, useful for the Nazis, they were sent to the camp. And then they became the prisoners. So they got their numbers. They used to live here and work here.
For example, when a Rwandan football team is playing, no one has ever go in the stadium and say, that is a Hutu playing, that is Tutsi. When you win, it's a victory of all Rwandans. And I'm taking this as an example of all other sectors in the future. We will be seeing a win of us, not of perpetrators and victims.